feature, and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
One of those guys that you can just go to for almost anything, and he steps up in big ways. And, I know that there's nights where he struggles to score or, his wrist has been hurting him, but he's really stepped up and been a really good defender for us.
We don't like starts like that in the first half, but for our kids to battle back and be resilient there at the end. And, they've just shown how much they've grown in the last year.
We're going to find out a lot about Kansas in the next 2 games. At Iowa State, Hilton Coliseum on Saturday, early start, and then 48 hours later playing Texas at home.
It's always fun to play here in front of some hometown people and just being able to see some familiar faces in the crowd. It's always special and obviously not the outcome we wanted, but it's fun being able to play in front of these people again.
This is a tough place to play, and we have been able to beat Hessen before in the past, but we've never beaten them on their home floor. It's just, I can't say enough how proud I am of what our girls accomplished tonight. I mean, they bothered us with their length,
45, almost 46. We threw 700 whatever passes. He went out slinging like he came in. This is Wayne Gretzky retiring.
Think about the most established people there. It is Russell Wilson, right? He's the only one there that has a Super Bowl. He's been there before. He's the biggest star. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's the best thing for the organization.
And welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM, the talk of the town. We come from a studio that is named the Mayo Money Management Studios. We're big time. I'm telling you what. Welcome to Sports Day here on the mighty 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Steve Webster with you here on the Thursday program, joined from left to right. From left to right, Aaron Clark.
Your left?
Mike Corson. Yeah, from my left. As you're watching at home, it would be from left to right, okay? And Mike Hesher. Greetings, fellas. Enjoyed listening to the show going down the highway yesterday. I was going to call in, but then I had to call Stafford County 911 because there was a drifter on one side of the highway, and I was kind of concerned about her. So I was talking with them, just make sure she was okay. But that's the kind of caring person I am.
I nearly called 911 myself last night. It's one of those ones where I don't even know where I was, so somebody will pick up the phone and like, what's your emergency? Well, it's not an emergency, and I don't know where I am. But come up on a truck with no taillights. He was like invisible.
And then, but you're okay.
I got around him and figured somebody else will see him.
I had a peaceful day. No, nothing to call the authorities about. It was nice and calm.
Back in my day when I was on the Cimarron Turnpike, and it was a really snowy night, and it was just, the sun starting to go down, and I came up over this hill down in there in Oklahoma, and it was like one of those ones where the road was pretty clear, but then there was like a big ice patch, right? I tried to overcorrect. I went one way, went the other, and then finally went into a complete spin going whatever I was, probably 65. And if you've been on Cimarron Turnpike, you've got those ditches down there, and it's a good thing because it keeps you from going to the other lane and getting plowed into by a semi. But I came to rest in the ditch looking the wrong way. So I thought, well, guys, I got to call 911. I said, where are you at? Well, I'm on the Cimarron Turnpike somewhere. Well, we don't really. And then I look up, and this huge sign says Sand Springs, 5 miles. I'm 5 miles west of Sand Springs. Yeah. I'm glad everything went well for you. Okay, on the show today, I have great Bend Panther basketball coach Kyle Cree, who'll be joined in studio today with us with seniors Caden Sharman and Braylon Council. So the seniors in Panthers home. It's homecoming. I always try not to do the, well, it's homecoming and there's a lot of distractions here. The standard one. So I'll try to get through it without saying that today. Were you distracted by homecoming, Aaron Clark, when you were a sophomore and you had that homecoming date with Susie and you went out on the field thinking, man, it's going to be a fun dance tonight?
Well, I don't think they even do a homecoming dance. They did when I was there, I don't believe. But I never really got distracted. Don't get me wrong, I had fun with it. Like, I'd dress up if it was easy. Like, I wasn't going to go out of my way. I remember my senior year when I was up for Homecoming King in the fall. I did dress up every day for that, but again, I didn't like.
So did you go out? So you went out there on the field with your football suit on, and for the before the game and all that's the pomp and circumstance, right?
The hilarious part was I wasn't even playing in that game. I had just blown out my knee in the week of practice leading up to it. But we didn't want, I believe it was Wichita West, to know that I wasn't playing until the moment the game started. And so they send me out there for all the ice-capades, you know, beforehand. And I'm in all of my pads, my pants, everything. That way no one knows. And I end up, I won it. I got the homecoming key. And I end up going back into the locker room, taking all of it off, putting just the jersey on. And I'm walking around on the sideline with a clipboard for the rest of that game. But, yeah, it was,
Did you fight through it, or did you take a shot because they couldn't see you hobbling out there on the field?
See, and that was the thing. I remember Coach Beck, before I went out there, he told me, he was like, hey, you need to look as sturdy as you can because we need them to not know until the last possible
We're not going to need you anymore. Your career here's done. If you hurt it anymore, that's no problem.
No, I didn't play that game.
Well, I know. That's what I mean.
Yeah. And it was.
That's your only use that you had at that point.
When I ended up coming back later that season, so it wasn't. Completely.
Okay.
Yeah,
right,
it was just
okay,
you know.
All right.
Wait, let the old guys talk. So you're young enough that theme week. I'm guessing we always had theme week. I don't think many people participated because there was no reason to take a picture and put it on social media. So the new distraction is these kids are going all out now. Those hallways are crazy.
But these are homecoming. I come from the day where the homecoming king kissed the homecoming queen. How long has that been out of favor?
About the same time they outlawed homemade cookies at the Halloween party. You got to be pre-wrapped, Steve.
I will say my favorite theme day. There was,
did they kiss?
Oh yeah, that was the big thing.
Yeah,
the kiss.
That's assault, brother.
Yes, it is.
We had a dress up as your hero day, and I had no idea what to do. I didn't know. I ended up dressing up as one Mr. Dan Heath up there at the high school. Threw on some khaki shorts and an old Jimi Hendrix shirt I had with a flannel T-shirt on over the top of it. I was comfy, dressed up as Mr. Heath for.
By the way, were you the king?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I ended up winning it.
Who was the queen?
Oh, Parker Smith. Pull it out. Parker Smith. There it is.
She's a former 4-H kid.
Would you have rather kiss the homecoming queen or dress up like Dan Heath?
I was pretty comfy as Dan Heath, not going to lie. Parker was pretty, but not having to go out and try to get a Superman suit or something for that dress up as your hero day was nice.
Okay.
Rails off.
Well, that's okay. That was a good homecoming discussion. Also today, members of Hoiston High School's youth crew, unless they've turned around and are heading back to Hoiston right now, they're going to be in here to talk about Yellow Night tomorrow, taking place at the Activities Center. They did this for the first time last year. Really cool. As the Cardinals take on the Pratt Greenbacks. Jennifer Steinert will be in. She is the sponsor. And also Sydney Strong and Tyrese Patterson. So we'll find out what Yellow Night is all about and youth crew and things like that. And also, there's no prowl today, right?
Correct.
Okay. Dan Graziano is going to stop by the studio. You want to know about the Broncos? Yeah, well, he'll be talking about that and their new head coach, Sean Payton. So let's get to our sounds of the past 24 hours. Jeremy Combs, head coach of the Barton Cougars, talking about Hannah Sard. Kind of does everything for this team. Last night he had a double-double, 13 points, 11 rebounds. Cougars, down at halftime, came back. This has been a bad one to drop, but they win at 75-66. So they remain on a roll. Cougar downing 29 points in that game as Barton improved to 10-6 in conference play, and they're tied for fourth with Garden. And a little bit of they got closer to the lead last night as Coffeyville loses on the road at Butler. So you have Dodge City 12-4, Coffeyville 12-5, Butler 12-5, Barton and Garden City are there at 10-6. Of course, if you can't win the conference, want to finish in the top four, so you get that first round bye. Bridget Griffin, she's the assistant coach for the Barton Lady Cougars. They just went out, long road trip, get off the bus, go on in there and fall right behind by 18 points. No problem. We'll come back, get get the victory. They won it in overtime, 67-65. Bridget talking about that's not really the way we wanted to do it, but the result was good. Down by 14 at halftime. Morgan Myers, Cole Rife said it was from the logo. It was about a 30-footer, tied the game with 8 seconds to go in regulation. Then Michaela Hall with a putback with 2 seconds left. So Jenikin Woozy with 19 points, 17 rebounds. It's routine. So Barton stays at, well, they're 12-4. They're still third in the league, 18-4 overall. Big boy game coming up, big boy and girl game coming up Saturday. Coffeyville is in town. So good win for the Cougars last night on the road. Greg Gurley saying it's going to be a telling weekend for Kansas Big 12 title hopes. This is going to get interesting. This is a big weekend for KU and Kansas State. Texas on top of the league at 7-2. Kansas, Kansas State, TCU, Iowa State, a game behind at 6-3. Baylor 5-4. Then after that, it's Oklahoma State 3-6, but they beat Oklahoma last night in Norman. KU goes to Iowa State, Hilton Coliseum. I think they tip off like at 11 o'clock in the morning up there. K-State, they are at home, and they are going to take on Texas. And that's going to be a 3 o'clock game on ESPN2. By the way, just in case you were wondering, an Oklahoma State-Oklahoma game between the 7th and 8th place teams last night was on ESPN2. It wasn't on ESPN Plus. And then KU turns around after that Iowa State game. They take on Texas Big Monday at Allen Fieldhouse. Has KU got over the woes, or is it just going to be one of those that if you lose 5 games, you still may win the conference title?
You almost be happy with 1-1 there, given the way the league goes.
You look at the schedule. I like Kansas State's schedule. I mean, they've got some of their toughies out of the way right now.
That's
they've already
a big
been
one,
to TCU. Yeah, they've won at Texas.
The win at Texas, and I didn't know Texas had snuck back in there, so even bigger.
Yeah.
Do they have to return back to the state of Texas the rest of the season, or have they gotten all their Texas road trips out of the way?
Who's that? No, they've got to go to TCU. K-State, yeah. I think K-State's got to go to Texas Tech, who's 1-8 right now, but
beat Iowa State.
Yeah, beat Iowa State. That was Emily Ryan last night. You had fun, didn't you? Down there on your square, down there on the end of the floor. Mike Corson went up there last night, was able to talk to Emily after the game, said it was fun playing in Bramlage in front of all her home fans. Only problem was they lost. That was the first game she's ever lost at Bramlage.
Yeah, and K-State came out hot. A gal hit 2 threes early on, and Iowa State stormed back. I think it was an 11-0 run. I think Emily had a 3-pointer and 3 assists in that run. So they go into the lead with the half with the lead, and K-State came back out and just kind of floored them in the third quarter. So it ended up being a 1-point game, but that was only because Iowa State hit a 3-pointer at the buzzer. But Iowa State shot about 47%, 13 of 13 from the line, out-rebounded K-State, and still found a way to lose.
They couldn't control Gabby Gregory. She had 25 points. Big win for K-State last night. That was a tough one for Iowa State. They went in that game tied for the Big 12 lead.
Yeah, and I hadn't followed K-State. I knew they got after that hot start, so I assumed they had done it again. So when I was kind of looking at the schedules, I was like, oh, man, K-State had kind of stumbled a little bit, but obviously they showed that they can beat a number 12 team.
And did you tell Lisa Jones that she shoots too much? Is that her? Ashley Jones. Did you tell her she shot too much?
I didn't get a chance to talk to her. She was pretty mute last night. Foul trouble at first or second quarter and ends up fouling out. Kind of bum deal there. But I actually was I was going for Iowa State because I knew I was going to interview the Iowa State people, and I don't like talking to people after a loss. So I was like, we need her in the post tonight.
Mike, I'm glad you're back here today and joining us here on Sports Day. Mandy Mason, you guys kind of talked about this on the show yesterday. That was a huge win, Hesh. They never won at Heston before.
That is correct.
Mandy Mason saying that's a heck of a win for her team. Kylie Hahn had 15 points in that game, 4 players in double figures.
3, I miscounted. Sorry.
I was looking at your stat sheet. That was hard enough to figure out, but
I know how it works. Come on.
Okay, and no, that's a huge win.
Well, as I mentioned this morning to Bruce Cooper, it's all how they follow up. If they lose to Pratt, it's pretty much out the window, right?
Yeah, but after watching the Houston Cardinals for the last 7 years, it was they'd go into a game with Heston and they just were automatically beaten before they took the floor, and then to go in there and win at Heston, that was a good win.
Well, they got that 7-0 run to start it. They just played with a different mentality that they hadn't been doing.
Well, it worked. So they're home tomorrow against Pratt. ESPN's Chris Berman. Can you say any more about Tom Brady? That's all we heard yesterday, but Tom Brady, I'm not going to play football anymore. Let's see, what is it? How much? $375 million to talk?
Only $37.5 million a year.
Yeah, but just unproven, just.
I hope for Fox's sake it's a disaster.
Why would you hope ill?
Okay, Dr. Doom over here. Let's change the name.
I'm not saying I hope he's fit. I'm just saying, what other he's never been in the booth.
Yeah, that's like I saw a kid run down the store to the ran down the street to the grocery store. Here's a $10 million contract, kid. You look good. I've never seen you race. I've never seen you do anything. Massive money, and there's all these guys who are actually commentators.
You don't think they have not done some prep work with him?
I don't.
You know he's done some stage work or some fake.
It's
interview.
a name. It's a brand.
Well,
yes,
true,
it is.
We need to at least run him through the Eagle
Are they
University
going to hire
courses.
Hesh and me for the Monday night football combination on there? No, it's who you are.
Look what they did with Breeze. I'm guessing they ran some tests with him too. Great name, great personality. It didn't work out.
They'll make it work no matter what.
That
That much money.
If it doesn't, who cares? Is it guaranteed money?
No, here the other two Fox guys are going to be talking, and they'll be like, they'll just show Tom Brady playing Scrabble or something. Gonna get your money's worth.
But you still get it's the broadcast with Tom Brady, and he'll just throw in every once in a while, man, what a pass.
Thumbs up.
Tony Romo got his job because he'd been quarterback for the Cowboys.
And I don't remember his contract being out of this world. Don't get me wrong. Of course, anyone in that industry is making a lot of money.
If he's not, that's what they're paying him.
He's never been a broadcaster. That's a whole lot of money for someone who's never.
Yeah,
I thought I was getting paid a lot to broadcast the Panther games for never having done it, and now he's going to be. Whew.
It's a big hook.
Well, let's talk around the hallways here right now too. Okay, so I mean, the discussion goes all the way down from Fox all the way to the hallways here at Eagle Radio too.
Of course, we're very connected people.
Okay. ESPN's Diana Rossini. The best available move made under the less than ideal circumstance of requiring a quarterback savior. Sean Payton going to Denver. I didn't think he'd go there. I really didn't. So here's what it costs. 3 first-round draft picks, 2 second-round picks, 2 solid NFL starters in Shelby Harris and Noah Fant, 2 bar-setting contracts, and that's the bounty the Broncos paid for Russell Wilson as newly presumed career resurrector Sean Payton. I think he's a good coach. But everybody keeps saying, including on this show, well, Drew Brees, they fixed Drew Brees and Russell Wilson are 2 completely different quarterbacks. Now, if that means you can go design your offense around dink and dunk from a quarterback who's, made up to this point could be a Hall of Fame career, having to use his legs, is he going to stay healthy? I don't know.
And that's part of the thing, though. I like to look at that last season that Sean Payton had in New Orleans. We saw a distinctly different offense than what he'd been running with Drew Brees when Jameis Winston came in, because Jameis Winston had a distinctly different skill set than Drew Brees. Drew Brees got by in the league, especially in those latter years.
So you're basing your thought that I mean, if there's nothing else out there, I mean, to give up the farm, this is another. One of these times they're going to hit it, right? Because even in Major League Baseball, if you're hitting 100, okay, they're going to
still dink one out there eventually. And I really think that lumping in the Russell Wilson contract like that, we can't undo that. And so them trying to save that first round and third rounder that they sent to New Orleans to get Sean Payton, I don't think a first-round rookie and a third-round rookie are going to help you with Russell Wilson's contract because you're locked into that contract. I do think Sean Payton gives them a much better opportunity to right the ship and make it to where this Russell Wilson contract isn't just a colossal failure. And it's like, well, that first year was pretty rough, but then Sean Payton came in and he was able. I don't think a first-round rookie this year is
but
going
then there's also the other scenario that you ever poured gasoline on a fire before?
And that's my kind of thing. I don't think it can get much. At this point, it can get worse, but the results, you can't bottom out much harder. Like they kind of just have to ride it out. And at this point, the Broncos aren't looking to be successful in 2023 or 2024 necessarily, but you either get Russell Wilson working with Sean Payton by making these quick success moves, or you're just, hey, 2030, that's the year for the Broncos now.
Sometimes that's where you got
to I think that's where they have to do that because they traded Bradley Chubb for Sean Payton because they traded Chubb to the Dolphins and got that first-round pick because they didn't have one after the Russell Wilson trade. So they traded an edge rusher who probably wasn't going to resign there anyway. He was unhappy with the organization. They trade him to get a coach who may or may not be able to come up with something, but who I think gives them a much better chance at succeeding with Russell
Another
Wilson.
savior lands in Denver, man. I love it.
You just have to hope.
Aren't the big winners here the Saints? It's like, hey, our coach is on TV.
How about the Packers with Tom Brady? I mean, that kind of, talk about winners right now. Well, that's going to make it a little bit better trade. Tom Brady's not out there we can start peddling guys for we can get more out of. So,
yeah, definitely. There's not going to be that delay for a team to pull the trigger on trading for Aaron Rodgers if they don't know I could get Tom Brady in free agency.
Real quick, have we talked about the NFL draft is coming to Kansas City?
Yeah.
I need to talk to Matt and tell him I need to go down there to cover that. We got to get me down there.
I think we can get you down there, especially if you go along with that same expense report that you were operating on the first trip to Lawrence.
Yeah. We'll learn what an expense report is at some point. Save the receipts, all that good stuff.
You guys pay for that stuff?
not my most shining moment.
No, that's all right though, man. You're just enthusiastic. We love the enthusiasm.
I did. I was under budget. I had 3 games there. I stayed under my limit.
How much was a motel you stayed in?
Oh well, that was paid for by Eagle. Just
how much was it?
Like a little over 200, maybe 220, something like that.
That's for 2 nights, though.
Yes, that is for 2 nights.
Right.
You want to know my 2-night motel stay in El Dorado? $97.87.
They're trying to.
I'm working, man. I'm working while I'm there. I'm not
playing pickleball.
You're the man. Hey, I had my prep ready. That way I was good to go to play some pickleball.
One game, man. That's hour and a half out of your day. The rest of it, man, is time to play.
That was kind of the weird part. Was I do my prep and even just the prep, I put an hour and a half into that. Then the game still only 3 hours of my day, and I'm just in Lawrence having a good old time.
Gotta love it. Okay, so anything else tidbits today?
The Senior Bowl kicked off in Mobile, Alabama. Looking like North Dakota State, the FCS powerhouse, won 3 more FCS titles than any other FCS team so far. They have this weird streak of getting offensive tackles drafted into the league. 2 years ago, it was Dylan Radins. Last year, it was Cordell Volson. This year, it's looking like it's going to be Cody Mock. And it's just a weird... They get their offensive tackles drafted kind of as guards, and it's just a weird little spree that they're on. Getting FCS guys drafted into the league early, day 2 guys. Radins went in the 2nd round, Volson in the 4th in their respective drafts. So it's kind of neat to see a program be able to churn out a specific talent like that to the league.
The Fargo Dome.
The Fargo Dome. It's at home of the Bison.
It's the only place I've ever drove by, and there's a picture. It's had the yellow crossing sign. It's got a guy on a tractor. They've got a tractor crossing in Fargo.
It's an iconic venue.
FCS, baby. I love it. Okay, we're going to take a break. Sports Day is going to continue right after this.
The need for nurses is constant. Barton Community College offers practical and registered nursing programs. The affordable and challenging coursework is taught by experienced instructors who care about you and have a passion for teaching in the field of nursing. Get hands-on training in the classroom, state-of-the-art simulation labs, and at clinical sites for this high-demand field. The application deadline has been extended to March 1st. Apply online at nursing.bartonccc.edu.
You don't have to be a tech expert to enjoy the latest devices. Get a Samsung Galaxy S22 Plus or iPhone 14 Pro Max half off at Next Tech Wireless. Not only are you getting a great deal on those devices, you're also getting them with a great customer service guarantee. We'll help you get your information transferred from your old phone and help you learn the ins and outs of your new phone. Next Tech Wireless.
When you need to get rid of the pain, you want the best. You need to see Dr. Dan Quillen at Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Dr. Dan is Barton County's only board-certified clinical specialist in orthopedic physical therapy. No matter your age, when it hurts, he will help. Call Dan at 620-282-4825. That's 282-4825. Excellence-driven, unrivaled results. Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Inside the Fieldhouse at 9th and Madison in Great Bend.
Don't kid yourself. Winter's a long way from being over. Every time your old furnace kicks on, just think of it as a slot machine that never pays off. Start saving money by placing a call to Mater Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, your original Bryant man in central Kansas. With a Bryant high-efficiency furnace, you may spend a little money, but you'll save a lot of money too. Call your Bryant man, Alan Mater. Mater Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, Great Bend.
Now, in its second decade, it's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back, Sports Day here on a Thursday. We're going to change it up here just a little bit. This was an event last year I got to see firsthand at the Activities Center. Is Zero Reasons Why. And Hoisington, last year, Jennifer Steiner with us here. She is the sponsor of this, and he's getting these kids to do this. But thanks for bringing the guys over today.
Thanks for having us.
So this is second year for this, right? For the Yellow Out?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So tell me about what Zero Reasons Why and kind of, what are you doing and how the students involved?
Okay. Zero Reasons Why was actually an organization started in 2018 in Johnson County. A lot of the schools there or the youth there, they were seeing a rise in teen suicide, and a lot of the superintendents got together and said, what can we do? We've done education. We're missing some pieces here. And so they came up with the idea that the piece that was missing was the student voice. In the program. So they got students involved and counselors and came up with this Zero Reasons Why concept, campaign. And Julie, from the executive director at the Center for Counseling and Consultation here in Great Bend, saw the success they were having because once they instituted the campaign, their suicide rates dropped. And so she brought it back to Central Kansas. And with that, 10 school districts within Central Kansas, the superintendents have all signed on to take part into it. So we started it last year. We came in last year with it at Hoisington and are just trying to raise awareness for teen suicide and remove the stigma associated with mental health.
What are some of the things that are going to be taking place tomorrow night, Jennifer?
Okay, tomorrow night we're going to have a table set up with information regarding Zero Reasons Why and mental health, signs to look for, ways to help people, ways to get help. We're going to have a lot of signage and positive messages around. Both of the basketball teams and the cheer team, dance line, and pep band are all going to be wearing our special Yellow Out T-shirts. We also sold Yellow Out T-shirts, so we'll have other people wearing them as well. There'll be a message read between games to talk about our campaign and the need for it.
Jennifer, what do you do at Hoisington?
I'm actually the business instructor at the high school.
Okay, so tell me about the students that are involved with this. I mean, we have Tyrese and Sydney here today, but the students that are all active with this and engaged.
Yeah, we have around 50 students involved right now, which is great. We've seen a lot of growth from last year to this year, with it being new last year. It's been great. We've had a lot of freshmen sign on. We had gone and talked to the middle school last year, and they said that really made a big impact with them. And so they decided to join in the efforts this year.
Sydney Strong, I talked to you at halftime of the game last year. That was really good. So you're the veteran back helping to lead this. What was neat about the first year, and then that led you to this year, and maybe some new ideas that you got?
Well, I really like seeing the growth at our school and how the community was so supportive, especially at the Yellow Out last year. You had seen it firsthand, and I want the community to keep learning about it, especially the school. And like Ms. Steiner said, a lot of the freshmen have signed on to it, so I think it's really cool to help lead those people into it.
Are you a senior now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, a senior. Okay, Tyrese Patterson. Tyrese, what year are you in school right now?
I'm a junior right now.
Okay, so were you part of this last year too?
Yes.
What was exciting when this idea was proposed and thrown out there by Jennifer last year that really made you think, okay, this is important?
Well, you see, it really helps like the younger kids to help them so they're like getting the help they need, and if they need help, so they can get that type of stuff.
So what was the neatest thing about last year's event in your eyes, Tyrese?
Like the stuff we did at the basketball game. So like how you could write the little notes, and then we'd go and put them up so other people could see them.
Sydney, when you had this going, did you always wonder, I wonder how this is going to go, and then to see it pull it off and to see how it went, how that'd make you feel?
Honestly, I was kind of surprised because I know a lot of people, especially myself, didn't know much about it. And so the fact that they want to get involved with it makes me feel pretty good.
You guys firsthand on this. I mean, there's a lot of things going on. Back in my day, we didn't have all the things you're dealing with right now with social media,
Yeah.
things like that. Do you see that firsthand every day? I mean, different stresses that high school kids and junior high students are going through?
Yeah, it's kind of surprising to see how many people actually do struggle with mental health and learning about suicide awareness. And I think it's just good that it's getting out there now.
Okay, Tyrese, so you see kind of the same thing?
Yeah, so like it can be anyone that has mental health. Like you don't have to be popular or athletic, or you can be rich or poor. Like anyone can struggle with it.
Yeah, so talk about the education aspect of this, Sydney, that you want to get out tomorrow night at this event, and then going beyond this Yellow Out tomorrow.
Well, not only do we want to obviously inform people about how like suicide awareness, mental health is also a big part of it, and we want to help spread that mental health, you can get help for it. Mental health is one of like the hardest things to ever, I don't know how to explain it, like improve. So the fact that I think that we're taking one step at a time is important for people to know.
How's all these students getting involved with this? And I mean, because again, I go back, this is my favorite line on this whole show. Back in my day, that was mental health was a stigma, Jennifer.
It is, and unfortunately, it still is. And that's one of the biggest things about this is to remove that stigma is we have to talk about it and make it, normalize it, that, talking about it is okay. I'm with you. Back in my day, we didn't talk about it, and it's still something we don't really talk about, and that's why we're doing the work we're doing. I had surveyed the students, and we'll talk about that some more tomorrow. And so many of them came back and said, I thought I was the only one. But now hearing other people talk about problems that they have makes me comfortable talking about it. And that has really helped. And so this is exactly what Zero Reasons Why is all about, is getting the student voices out there and making everyone realize they're not alone and they're not the only ones. And it's okay to talk about it.
How long have you been in education now?
This is my 11th year, I believe.
Okay, so you got into teaching because you wanted to help kids, right?
Yes.
And then you want to see kids excel. So how does it make you feel when you see the participation and the response from your student body?
It is overwhelming. I'm so proud. It's emotional. I'm not generally an emotionally person, but this really touches my emotions because I've seen kids suffer with mental health. And I have, friends who have teenagers, and they've confided in me with problems their kids were going through. And these are kids I know at school that I would have never imagined were having problems. And when I heard about it, I said, we need this. And just the student response and involvement, like I said, it swells me with pride. I just so proud of them.
I think you're kind of proud too of your school, aren't you, Tyrese? I mean, to see how this has come along.
Oh yeah, like it's really good program, and it's gonna help a lot of people in the long run.
Sydney, does this bring the whole school together a little bit?
Honestly, yes. I feel like, especially the freshmen, they're kind of like really scared and intimidated, but because they're getting involved in things like this, it really helps bond the different classes.
Yeah, it's awesome. So how can people participate in this event tomorrow, or if they can't go to the game tomorrow night, how can they help?
Well, like Ms. Steiner said, you can order a shirt, or tomorrow night we're having a kind of like a basket competition. You can throw a free throw or a three-pointer and earn a liter of pop. And this isn't for just high school students. It's for anybody who wants to do it.
So it's what are you a basketball you're throwing it?
Yep, basketball.
In a basket.
You're just shooting a basket.
Okay, I'm thinking. Okay, okay.
Sorry.
I thought it was like a basket. I thought then you just put that on Hesh's head, man, and you get all Hesh. I think he should do that.
We might. That's a good idea. Or pie in the face or something. I don't know.
Let him throw oranges,
There you
know,
go.
or, no lemons. Keep it with yellow night.
Yeah.
No, it's really great. So, guys, thanks for coming over today, Sydney. It's wonderful to see you're involved. Tyrese, keep up the good work, and Jennifer, you look like a beaming parent in here today.
I'm very proud of these kids.
Okay, guys, think that's going to be Pratt tomorrow night. And when's everything get set up?
We're going to try to be set up by 4 o'clock so that when the JV game kicks off at 4:30, we're there and ready to spread the word.
You guys are special. Thanks for coming in
Thank
today.
you.
Thank you so much.
We'll be back with more Sports Day. We're going to talk Great Bend Panther basketball coming up with head coach Kyle Cree, Braylon Council, and Caden Sharman all in here on the show on a Thursday.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
Hello, this is Austin Alford. I'd like to introduce to you today one of the most popular pieces of equipment we have to train core strength, shoulder stability, core stability, and even to improve balance. Come check out the core sticks for yourself at Progressive Physical Therapy Center in Hayes.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Wright, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
It's time to talk Great Bend High School basketball with head coach Kyle Cree on Sports Day.
Welcome back to Sports Day here on a Thursday. Homecoming tomorrow night at Great Bend High School, Panther Fieldhouse. Liberal Redskins in town. Help us hype it up here today. Head coach Kyle Cree, also seniors Caden Sharman and Braylon Council in on the show today. Guys, thanks for coming in to talk little homecoming basketball. So always a fun time. You used to get a pretty good crowd in there, and you want to keep your momentum going, Kyle.
Yeah, for sure, and get ourselves a couple games over 500. So we get a win tomorrow night. Well, we'll be 8-6, and I think we're headed in the right direction.
Well, you've had a chance here to have plenty of practice, right, in the last 2 weeks now?
Yeah, and plenty of running. Monday we ran a little bit. We ran a little bit Monday because Liberal got to play Tuesday. So when you play games, it seems like you're in a little bit better shape. So I just didn't want the game to roll around Friday and those guys to be a step ahead of us.
Okay, so is this a good time? I mean, kind of the way it went, it'll change a little bit next year with both the boys and girls same location, but where you can, put in some mid-season things, make some tweaks and things like that?
Yeah, this week we've really been focusing on our motion offense, and the guys, it looks really smooth. I mean, with our first and second team, it seems like they're getting the hang of it. We've got a few different options depending on where the ball goes, and the guys have caught on well. I know the offense we run, there's a lot of high school coaches that are kind of hesitant to run it just because of the teaching parts, but it seems like our guys listen and they work well together, and we're looking pretty smooth right now.
What's the key to the motion offense, having kids execute it?
I mean, just working together and getting the ball to the post players. Everything kind of getting the ball to the high post is kind of our trigger. Plus, we want to get the ball into the hands of Jacob and Ian and Tyler and kind of work off of that.
How's that evolved since the beginning of the year?
It just seems like the guys have just caught on and they're moving without the basketball. So we're not standing as much. We're setting better screens at least most of the time and cutting to the basket. And we're actually getting the ball into the paint.
Braylon Council, Caden Sharman in with us too. Okay, Braylon, expound on that. I mean, from the beginning of the year, the motion offense and how you see it evolve for this year's team.
Oh yeah, we definitely cut more, like get to the rim more, and because we used to all just stand at the 3-point line, want to take threes, but we've gotten a lot better at getting to the rim.
So when you're cutting, I mean, you go into a certain space after you cut through the lane if you don't get the ball, or how's that work?
Yeah, just go to like an open spot, just trying to like space out the court so not everyone's congested.
So this isn't, I mean, Caden had said, some offenses, okay, you go here and you're going to come around. So you allowed to freelance a little bit with this?
I mean, yeah, a little bit to a point. There's always spots you want to be in, but you still have that freedom to kind of roam around and cut whenever you feel need, or like you still have the opportunity to go set screens or go back door or whatever. But it's not like a set. You have to do this at this time and this at this certain point or anything.
Okay, Dodge City, last time you played, that's really the only game we can really talk about the last couple of weeks here since you go back to the Blue Stem. So 57-53, our leading rebounder is in here. Of course, the most imposing player on the starting lineup when he goes out there. Big rebound night. And, Braylon, you said it after the game last Friday that it's nice to get a win when you don't shoot well. I mean, that was a big key in that game, wasn't it?
Yeah, we did not shoot well, but still be able to win that shooting like we did feels good.
How do you do it? I mean, one of the shorter players on the court, you go in there and you pull down 12 rebounds.
I think it's all about positioning. Like, you got to have position and box out, really.
I mean, you watching the shot where you can anticipate maybe where it's going to come off at?
Yeah, you kind of like, sometimes you can tell where the ball is going to go or just have a good guess, so I try and do that.
And speaking of imposing, Caden, as far as height goes, you're one of our better rebounders as well. What's the key for you getting position? And, well, position is going to be one of those. But tell me about your rebound strategy and what you try to do.
I mean, I like to use my strength to an advantage, kind of box them out and, like, use my strength as an advantage to get positioning on them. And then I also, like, both of us we can jump pretty well, so going up to get the ball before they have the chance to get up there also helps.
You mentioned strength, and, of course, you didn't play last year. And, of course, spent a lot of time in the weight room and things like that. But it's not upper bodies. It's not getting moved off I mean, talk about, is it more lower body than upper body when you get into strength for basketball?
Yeah, it's your hips. You got to put your hips into theirs, and, I mean, it's kind of like football, low man wins. You kind of got to put your lower body into them and just impose your strength on them.
You were in here right before the season started, and you're coming back, and I don't think could have gone any better for you this year, has it? And your role kind of improves or increases each week. So kind of talk about from the beginning of the year to where you are right now.
I mean, yeah, the beginning of the year they wanted me more like, I think Cree wanted me more on the inside just because I was a little stronger and I've never really played in there. Like, I've always played basketball, just not last year. But, I mean, with the emergence of Ian and Jake, they've allowed us to kind of expand and play guard spots like I wanted to. And I'm not saying I wouldn't play the big, but it just suits me more as a player, I think. And it's really just helped us as a team with them being able to guard the bigs and then play the big post as well.
It could be, and no one really, obviously 1 for 14. No one shot threes good last Friday, but, man, going into that game, you'd hit 5 of your last 12. Talk about how your shots come along as the season's gone along, where you're a big threat from beyond the arc.
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning of the year, had to knock off a little bit of rust, I'd say, and then continuing to get shots off outside of practice, that'll always help. I mean, going to the field house and shooting every now and then while after you're lifting, get a couple shots up just so you're not, like, always just thinking of just lifting or whatever. But, yeah, continuing to have confidence in your shot and just shoot the ball.
Braylon, you guys had such a, I don't know, you knew each other's moves when you're talking on the football field, as a wide receiver. Caden as a quarterback. You have that same third sense, I guess, when you guys are on the basketball court?
I would say we do. I mean, we grew up together. You know, we've always played basketball together.
So one-on-one, who won in the early days?
Oh, it was always me.
Oh, come on.
It was always me. It was always me.
Well, as Caden kept getting bigger and stronger, did he kind of take you down low further, or what?
Oh yeah, he doesn't want to see me in the post.
Braylon's got the quickness though.
No, he can't guard me.
Oh yeah, but you're calling your own fouls though. So
Yeah, these guys are both tough. I don't know. These guys probably wouldn't cry about fouls. We got some other guys. I don't know. Their one-on-one matchups might be kind of questionable.
It's been hit or miss on games. You guys went to El Dorado, the Blue Stem, and of course then you waited another week, played Dodge City, and now we get into the fun time of the season. I think we're in February, down the stretch here. Braylon, how do you think this team's playing right now, and maybe some tweaks that still need to improve on to make that deep run that you want to?
I think our defense and our rebounding has improved a lot, and I think that's what is helping us get the momentum that we're getting.
Cade, what do you think?
I mean, energy. Like we're coming out with a lot more energy. Like I mean, besides that Dodge game, we didn't have a bunch of energy there, and you kind of saw the result. Like we let a team hang with us that probably shouldn't have. And but with that collegiate game, I mean, we had a ton of energy the entire game. We were playing out of our mind, and it was just a lot of fun to be a part of that. And that has improved a lot, I believe.
I asked the guys last week about it. Tell me about that fourth quarter against Collegiate. It seemed like that clock would move 3 seconds and then stop, and it just wasn't running. Tell me about that fourth quarter.
I mean, it was an intense one. I mean, you heard it from the fans, you heard it from the players as well. I mean, that freshman getting it technical. I mean, everyone was in the moment, and it was intense, and everyone was fighting for positioning in the boards. I mean, it was getting physical, but that's how we want to play.
Yeah. Okay. Liberal coming in here. The homecoming game tomorrow night. Braylon, talk about your thoughts on Liberal and what you've seen and some things that you'll be focused in on tomorrow night.
I think we can definitely run in transition on them, you know, push the ball, and we should be able to handle ourselves.
What are you looking at, Caden?
Rebounding. I mean, it comes down to rebounding. They're not strong on the glass, and that's something we got to continue to do well is rebound the ball. And usually when the team that wins the rebound battle wins the game.
How tall are you, Braylon?
Be honest.
They've got you 5'10" on the roster. I just want.
I'm 5'9".
Okay.
And a half.
5'9" and a half. You still going 6 foot?
No. I'll be honest. I'm like 5'10" and a half, 5'11".
Okay, so Kyle Creed, here's two of your better rebounders on the team. That says something about effort and just what they've talked about, positioning, things like that.
Yeah, leverage and, you know, reading the ball off the rim and stuff like that Braylon kind of touched base on. But they're also bouncy. There's a rebound that Sharman got at the free throw line. We were shooting it. We obviously missed the free throw. We missed a lot against Dodge. But he, like, as soon as it came off the rim, he was the first one off the floor. So, I mean, a lot of it comes to their athleticism and heart. I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. And then just desire and everything that these guys are made of.
Would you consider them both quick jumpers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, without a doubt.
Quick jumping come from weight training?
It does. You do those plyometrics, those squats. It'll get you.
Mm-hmm. Quick jumper, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Nobody's quicker than Braylon.
Okay, so I'll go 5'9" and a half then when I go in there and you get more double-digit rebounds. Okay, all right, that's great. Okay, Kyle, I mean, Liberals coming in here, they've struggled. They've got a long losing streak coming in. It's homecoming, you know, all those distractions I always talk about. Man, focus is going to be important. Get off to a good start and keep this run going.
Yeah, and that's what I've kind of talked to some of our younger guys about is just maintaining our focus and just being prepared before we hit the court, before that 20 minutes starts for warm-up. And then, you know, just thinking of keys to win, I think we got to attack the paint for sure. We got a lot of guys that can shoot it. I know Sharman right now is pretty confident with his three-point shot. He's pretty trigger-happy. But his shot looks good. I mean, I feel like every time he shoots it, it's going in. But I think, you know, as a whole, we got to make sure we attack the paint, get some post feeds and stuff like that, because I think we can do some damage if we get the ball in there.
Post feeds have been, I mean, again, it goes back to that balance. I mean, you took 14 threes, maybe at the beginning of the year you'd have kept pumping them up there and had 28 three-point attempts, but you had different options on offense.
Yeah, for sure, and I think we definitely beat them as far as like points in the paint. I think we had 32, and I'm not sure where they were at, and the rebounding margin, which we've talked a lot about, I think we had 43 and they had 26. So, I mean, you think of the size they had on the inside and the fact that we beat them that bad on the rebounds is testament to these guys and their desire to rebound the basketball.
Okay, we get going tomorrow, and then then we start getting the Tuesday, Friday. Have a couple road games next week. Now the Bueller game, that's going to be at a different locale. So
yeah,
it's going to be
not very
school.
pleased with that one. Yeah, we're playing in a middle school, which I think is fine because we got the athletes. But I mean, it kind of helps them a little bit because they're not as athletic, so they have maybe less steps to make up and stuff like that. But we'll play at the middle school. We'll play them anywhere. We'll play them outside. We'll play them at a YMCA. It doesn't matter. So we're going to take it to Bueller, and then, not like we're looking ahead, but we got a big matchup next Friday as well.
Yep, and that trip out to Garden City. So is this going to be over the Hill League court? I mean, is we going to be shorter than the 94 then?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
I mean, I'd be interested. I don't even know if it's 84. I mean, I think it has to be, but...
Well, this isn't one of those courts that the circles loop together out there, is it?
It's small.
Really?
We've got some film of them versus Rose Hill, and it's small. Yeah. So, not sure how they get away with it. I mean, maybe they could come play us here at Great Bend, but it is what it is, and we're going to go dominate Bueller as well.
Okay, we'll have more details on that as we go along. So, Caden, going in, final homecoming matchup for you on Friday night. Should be a lot of fun, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, homecoming, it's a big thing, but we got to stay focused. The task at hand, the reason we're playing homecoming is to play a basketball game. That's the main event. I mean, that's why we're here. We got to focus on that, not the extracurriculars that come with homecoming. It's the basketball game that matters.
Absolutely. Get out there and get a win, Braylon. Good luck tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Okay, 5'9.5", Braylon Council, and let's see the 5'10".
I'll take it.
Okay. Caden Sharman with us here. Coach, thanks for coming in today. See you tomorrow night.
All right, thank you.
Okay, that is head coach Kyle Cree, Braylon Council, Caden Sharman here with us on Sports Day. We'll continue with more right after
the
this.
Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
When you need to get rid of the pain, you want the best. You need to see Dr. Dan Quillen at Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Dr. Dan is Barton County's only board-certified clinical specialist in orthopedic physical therapy. No matter your age, when it hurts, he will help. Call Dan at 620-282-4825. That's 282-4825. Excellence-driven, unrivaled results. Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Inside the Fieldhouse at 9th and Madison in Great Bend.
Venture Corporation is a homegrown company with almost 50 years of experience in asphalt, paving, and construction. They have quite a few jobs scheduled for the new year, and they need equipment operators, mechanics, and CDL drivers. Venture offers many benefits, including 401k and Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance. Call Leslie for all the details. Work for a family-owned and family-oriented company that is here today and will be here in the future. Venture Corporation, South Highway 281, Great Bend, is an equal opportunity employer.
To be the king of the road, you have to fill with the king of diesels. We're talking about Cenex Premium Diesel. It comes with a more complete additive package for a more complete burn. Cenex Roadmaster XL even cleans up and prevents injector fouling to keep your trucks out of the shop and on the road. And typical number 2 diesel? That's always an option. The wrong option. Cenex Premium Diesel. Diesel that doesn't mess around.
Contact American Plains Co-op in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor today.
The need for nurses is constant. Barton Community College offers practical and registered nursing programs. The affordable and challenging coursework is taught by experienced instructors who care about you and have a passion for teaching in the field of nursing. Get hands-on training in the classroom, state-of-the-art simulation labs, and at clinical sites for this high-demand field. The application deadline has been extended to March 1st. Apply online at nursing.bartonccc.edu.
It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back, Sports Day here on KVGB. Steve Webster with you here, wrapping up the show today. Have a little bit of Dan Graziano for you this morning. He was on with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin this morning and talking about, Sean Payton going to the Denver Broncos. You're going to bring in a coach to try to fix Russell Wilson. I guess that's the best way to go. So they're swinging for the fences here. This from earlier this morning.
and joined now by Dan Graziano, ESPN NFL insider, whose tweet summed up nicely the deals that the Broncos have made for their head coach and quarterback. 3 firsts, 3 seconds, 3 NFL players. Yeah. Ooh, it's a lot.
What's cracking, Dizzo?
What's up, Dan?
You almost, if you would have been drinking something, you'd have had him in a spit take just then.
He gave you a new one. He's trying over here. He's working for it, Dan.
The Dizzo.
You got to admire the effort.
Which
D to the di- Oh, whoa, pause.
No, check this out though, Dan.
Yeah.
So Tom retired yesterday. Now we're looking at this quarterback landscape and the impact, and I can't find a quarterback out there other than Carr. A starting quarterback out there other than Derek Carr. How's this thing gonna shape up for people?
Max's guy Jimmy G, he's out there. He can be somebody's
Coming off an injury.
When is
Again.
he not?
Right, but like sometimes, there might be a 6-week span where he's not hurt at the end of some season. That's when you go get Jimmy G.
Either he's injured or he's coming off an injury. There's one or the other. Yeah, it's going to be tricky. I mean, look, you mentioned Derek Carr. I think, Jacoby Brissett is going to be out there trying to convince somebody he's their starter. I mean, that's where we are. And Daniel Jones, Geno Smith, those guys are free agents, but I think everybody thinks they're probably likely to stay where they are. Right? Anything can happen, but it's going to be tough. I mean, there's the entire NFC South needs a quarterback, right? All 4 teams. The Raiders need to figure something out. And
Dan, the Raiders haven't given Carr permission yet, huh?
Well, no. Permission for what?
To seek a trade.
No, the Raiders would love to trade Carr, but.
All right, wrong sound. I wanted the one where they're talking about Sean Payton coming to Denver. Who was supposed to edit that, Hesh?
I'm guessing me, maybe?
No. Yeah, it's the wrong one, so that's all right. I don't want to sit here and talk about the Raiders and Carr and all that stuff. So what we can do is kind of get you ready for high school basketball tomorrow. Connor Nichols going to be out on the show. Here are the matchups in the Western Athletic Conference. Of course, Great Bend at home. It's homecoming. They'll be taking on Liberal, who's really struggled. Now, the girls are ranked 10th this week. It'll be a chore for the Lady Panthers tomorrow night. Liberal's 11-2, but Dodge City beat them a couple weeks ago out in Dodge. Of course, Great Bend went out and beat Dodge City on their home floor. So that'll be a fun game tomorrow night, and that'll be followed by the boys. Liberal just 2-11. Great Bend trying to get 2 games above 500 for the first time this season. 1 game involving WAC schools tomorrow. Dodge City plays at Hayes, and Garden City, they're at Guyman, Oklahoma. I think Guyman, Oklahoma ought to become part of the Western Athletic Conference. Why not? I don't know. Throw a 6 team in there. It's not that much further than Liberal, I don't think. And maybe make it a 4-hour drive. Central Kansas League tomorrow night. Hoisington at home against the Pratt Greenbacks. It's yellow night. Halstead at Larned tomorrow. In the Central Prairie League, Central Plains will be at St. John tomorrow night. Ashland at Otis Bison. Spearville is at Kinsley. Victoria plays at Maxville. La Crosse is at Ness City. Some other area matchups tomorrow. Chase at Southern Cloud. Big matchup in Class 1A Division II. Pawnee Heights is at home tomorrow night. They'll take on South Gray. Stafford, they continue to be ranked in the top 10 in the KBCA. Trojans at home tomorrow night. They'll be taking on South Barber. So you can see the entire schedule. It's up right now at greatbendpost.com. And Hesh.
And if a lemon comes my way Friday night, Webby, I'm coming after you, buddy.
Wouldn't that be a great
Oh, I'm sure there are some people out there who listen to the show that are already thinking about taking lemons.
Well, just don't put a trash can on your head.
Okay, well, I'll try not to. Well, there's one right in front of me there, so okay.
There's no sport in it unless they just want to wind back and see if they can hit you in the back of the head with a yellow lemon.
Well, I've been known to be throwing things out before.
No, that was fun today. Jennifer Steinert in with us along with Sydney Strong and Tyrese Patterson. On tomorrow, Friday's show here on KVGB Great Bend.
This is Agriculture